Greetings, party people, and welcome to what just may be officially the inaugural episode of The Blowe Show. I'm Chris Blowe, and this is my show. So, thank you for watching. I decided to upload this to YouTube because YouTube is free 99. Hello, and it's easily accessible. Everybody can get on there. Is no membership required or anything like that. Just a regular account, of course, log in. But I don't think you even need that per se. So I figured this would be the easiest way to get any content out there that I choose to put out. And the intent of me having this podcast or using this platform is to simply highlight, social issues that are not unique. I was going to say unique, but more so closely related or close to my heart as far as my culture and my community. So I see a lot of things across social media, no matter the platform, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X now, uh, from multiple users. And sometimes you just want to dissect things a little bit. You want to kind of deep dive into them. Sometimes you just want to talk about them and, laugh about it a little bit. One of the topics that I intend to cover today tends to be controversial, but I'm never afraid of it. And that is the LGBTQ community and the ongoing stigma that is attached to that community, unfortunately, especially in the year of our Lord 2025. As a matter of fact, the first thing I wanted to highlight revolves around Tammy Roman, for those who are familiar with her from Basketball Wives, but she actually got her start in the reality TV game like 3 decades ago on The Real World, if you remember that show on MTV. But she was recently on Candy Burris's podcast, and she has 2 daughters, and one of them is a lesbian. And the discussion, or at least the discussion within the clip that I saw, was about the fact that she did not want her daughter's girlfriend coming to the graduation ceremony. And Candy immediately peeped game on it and was just like, well, your other daughter's straight, right? Yeah. And the other daughter has a boyfriend, correct? Yes. That boyfriend has come around family events before? Yes, the boyfriend has come around. Okay. So what is the difference between that boyfriend coming around and the girlfriend coming? And Tammy proceeds to give this cockamamie answer of, well, there's something called a confirmation bias. And goes on to explain how, she's using her confirmation bias as a means to protect her mental health. So this is where I get lost on that, or where she loses me, rather. First of all, confirmation bias, that is not what that is, babe. Confirmation bias is when you purposely gravitate towards any information that you get that leans in favor of, what it is you want to know, in favor of, like, your own personal agenda. So, I mean, technically, maybe you could say that is a confirmation bias as far as like you only leaning towards straight people as opposed to gay people, but you're low key using that out of context. And as far as protecting your mental health, what mental health aspect are we talking about here? Just the simple fact that you're uncomfortable? How about we just go ahead and put a name on it? It's called homophobia. And that's what I feel like she was skirting around. She didn't just want to come right out and say that she was homophobic. But that's what it is. Let's just call a spade a spade. And because of your homophobia, you're now going to do a disservice to your daughter, and your daughter can't share her special moments with that special someone in her life. You rob her of those memories because you're projecting your stuff onto her. The stuff that you won't even name and acknowledge for yourself. Another one that caught my attention this week revolves Norman Freeman, for those of you familiar with him. I know him from Instagram. I know of him from Instagram. I don't know him. But he's a, influencer, a comedian, also a makeup artist. And he posted something the other day where he had reached out to this girl who makes wigs. Because he is a gay man. As you know, he dresses up female presenting, woman presenting, if you will. So he reached out to her, and the wigs were nice. So his question to her was, hey, why are these only $150? Are they a synthetic blend? Talking about synthetic hair with human hair as opposed to being fully human or fully synthetic wigs. At least that's what I got from it. And asking why are they only $150? Because if you know, a good wig can cost you thousands, depending on who is making them and where you're getting the wig from. So the girl, instead of just answering his question, responds by thanking him for the compliment, but then goes into this long tirade about how her gift is a gift that she has dedicated to the Lord. And because she's dedicated to the Lord, she cannot fulfill an order for him. And she's not saying it judgmentally or to be discriminatory, because we all are sinners. But, she feels like his true identity is hidden in God, and he needs to go to God to, figure that out, basically. I'm paraphrasing at this point. And that God wants to do more through him because God sees more for him. And honestly, like this pseudo prophecy that she was trying to push, as opposed to just saying, no, which still is, illegal, I think. But why hide it behind religion? And again, we're doing this big old word salad, talking about you're not being judgmental and you're not being discriminating while doing exactly that. Because, words mean things, as opposed to you just going ahead and acknowledging the fact that you're homophobic. And whatever reason you don't want to use that word, that is telling in itself. And that's something that you need to figure out, as opposed to projecting that onto somebody else. And now, once again, hindering someone else's life and the things that they're trying to do, all because you're discriminating against them for their sexuality, which that's a hallmark of homophobia as it is. These people who are so concerned with who someone else is sleeping with. Why is that any of your concern if it's not you? You're concerned about who is in my bed. If it's a consenting relationship, hello, let's put that out there, then why is that any concern to you? I will never understand that. So, to get back to Norman, this is also somebody, now she's blocking her own blessings because, again, like I mentioned, he's a makeup artist, so he's in the beauty space. So that could have been exposure for your wig business, because he's also somebody online with well over 1 million followers. I think he has like 1.5 million, if I recall correctly. It's like 1.4 maybe. All of that exposure now down the drain because you want to sit here and be so super saved. And by no means am I sitting here condemning religion, because, again, I'm a Christian man myself. I'm a church kid. But I do not like when people weaponize religion as a means to demean somebody else, because what it boils down to now is you're now dehumanizing me. And there's such an effort with homophobic people to other members of the LGBTQ community, because if you're able to other them as something less than their fully human selves, then that now takes the sting out of your consciousness for the mistreatment. Quiet as it's kept. And it's just whack to me. It's lame. You know, the wig girl and Tammy, what they both need to do is they both need to acknowledge the fact that they are homophobic. Just go ahead and say that word, embrace it, and then figure out why. Or don't. But in the meantime, don't project it onto other people. Don't make your issue someone else's inconvenience. Now your daughter can't even share, her big moment with the person that she loves. Now Norman can't even get a nice wig. I mean, I'm sure he can find other places to get wigs. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are willing to make a wig for him. But like, you're sitting here denying services. You're sitting here denying accommodations. You're sitting here denying simple respect, love, and care because of a so-called bias that you have. And it's really something that's rooted within you, and you're making it other people's issue. But I digress. I could go deeper, but to be honest with you, then I'll be risking disinformation and misinformation, because I don't want to try to recite anything or what's the other word I'm looking for? Um, push my opinion on anything that's not based in something that I have read, and I haven't read much in that regard, outside of reading up on those two cases that I just highlighted, those two stories that I just highlighted. But to end on a lighter note, um, I want to give a shout out. It's a bittersweet note, actually. I want to give a shout out and a rest in peace to Miss Major Griffin Gracie. Um, she was a Black trans woman who passed earlier this week, or within the past week, I want to say. Yeah. Um, this is the last week of this past week. Um, but yeah, she passed away recently. She was an activist for the LGBTQ community. She was on the front lines of Stonewall, which was the catalyst in the gay rights movement, um, which is, probably the birthplace of a lot of the rights that the LGBTQ community has today and is actually being stripped away, unfortunately, in 2025. Um, but yeah, what blessed me the most about Miss Major is she was a Black trans woman who got to grow old in a country where I think it's like 80% of the transgender deaths, murders, are Black people, most of them women. Um, that was the first time that I realized I saw a Black trans woman who was older. She was well into her 70s. So I love the fact that she simply got to live, and she lived a powerful life using her voice to uplift others. As a matter of fact, one of her last messages um, that she put out right before or not too long before she passed, she was just telling everyone, these indeed are scary times, but don't be scared. Continue to be courageous. She was being encouraging even in that. So um, may her memory continue to be a blessing to those who knew and who loved her. And I thank y'all for watching, if you're still watching this video this far. And hopefully we'll get to talk again soon. Y'all take care of each other, man. Love each other.